finished the art journal. I did some bordering with some washi tape. I did I love you for myself because I need to remind myself that I love myself. And I also said my world blossoms, and I did these really cute little stickers because I just like using them. I'm trying to use up all my stickers. These ones are pretty. So I kind of wanted to go on a Noko ramble because I had a question about, not in the comments, but from a family that watched the video that asked about why I said hello little skies. The reason I said that is because, you know, you hear those analogies about gardens and everything else. Well, my analogy for our life, and with that comes all the weather, like, and it needs all that weather, the cloudy, the rainy, the sunny, the windy. And I think that it's really important for us to remember that in life there's always those different types of weather. There's even tornadoes. And too much of a good thing is a bad thing. If we have too much sun and too much heat, then everything gets burnt up. If we have too much wind, everything could just blow away. And we can end up with tornadoes, and that's usually like the anger when you're always, I think, like when you're always angry, you're like this tornado on a destructive path. And sometimes when we worry about other people's weather, then it can kind of affect our weather too. I mean, like when my kids are crying and sad, it's really hard for me not to cry, and different things like that. And I just feel like sometimes we let other people's weather really affect us, and then we get sad or we get angry or frustrated, and we get all those. But we have to remember that when we're the sky, we're always shining. Even behind those clouds, there's the stars. There's the moon, there's the sun. It's always orbiting this planet, our world, our lives. And we have to embrace all that weather, because sometimes even when we're in our tornado mode and we change things, sometimes it's for the better, or sometimes it's a necessary destruction. But then we start renewed. Same with flooding. If we're always sad and we're always crying, then sometimes we can flood our world or flood our gardens or our forests. And I always think of like happiness as this soft light, when it's like really pretty blue skies and those white fluffy Simpson clouds, and it's just that cool wind. It's just a beautiful day, and I think of that as whenever I'm happy. And I think it's really important because we can share our light. We can shine that light once other people are lost in that darkness or cloudiness. We can share it. I know that my husband is one that shares his light in my world. Sometimes when I'm really frustrated, I talk to him, and then I feel so much better. And I think that that's really important, is to know that you can share your light. But sometimes it's not good for us to worry about everybody else's weather, concerned with how they think about us, that type of thing, because it can affect the way we feel about what's going on. And I always think about the sunrise and the sunset and how those are beautiful colors. I always love watching the sunset and sunrise. And if you haven't, I really suggest you do. But they're beautiful colors, just paint the sky. And that's how we are. We are all different. We're all unique. We all display our colors, display our beauty in our own way. And I think that that's really important, is that we all have different colors that we show and we express. And I just kind of wanted to ramble about that. when they were weather, I would always just, when they were weather, when they were younger, I used to always talk to them about not letting other people really affect them, because those people are going through something of their own. And I always think about that. I try to remember that perspective. When people are picking on you or people are being jerks, there's something going on within them that they're not happy with, or maybe their weather's really stormy and they don't know how to ride that storm, break the storm. One of the other questions was Noko, when I signed off as Noko Val. And Noko is shortened for Nokomis, which means grandma. I'm a grandma. And if you're a grandma, yay, it's the grandma mode. If you're not, I think that's kind of where I'm coming from, is just all those things I went through, all those life lessons. Maybe they might help you. So I'm going to show you how I'm using my journal, because I'm going to do that monthly flip through, and that's going to be, I think, really fun. My journal has slowly evolved and changed and grown, and I'm kind of really happy with the way that it's going. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to do some sketching today, trying to get my hands back in that motion of sketching and drawing and trying to get that figured out. And then we might end up maybe putting something in here, we'll see. I'm probably not going to today, but this journal will be filled with some artwork, maybe some poetry, and we'll kind of see what comes out of it. But definitely doing some sketching today. Definitely flipping through the journal, kind of reflecting on it. And definitely going to go look at some clouds because I think that's really important to just step outside. It's pretty windy today and it's really warm. I don't know how warm it got, but it was 91 at one time I checked it, so it's pretty warm outside, and that's a hot wind, so I probably won't be outside very long. In this video, I also wanted to include the April flip through, so I'm going to show you what was going on in April. It was pretty full, pretty busy. Finals, it was pretty crazy, and so still enough room in my monthly to take care of everything that I need to. And then in my weeklies, I have April, and then I just kind of added some different stickers, filling up the space a little bit. It was kind of keeping track of the archives and the day job, and then I just kind of had some fun throwing in some extra stickers on some days that didn't really have that much going on. And we got new bikes, so I did some biking and more biking, and then I decided to take the steps off. Decided I didn't like wearing the watch all the time. It was starting to irritate my skin, and I'm actually more active now that I don't have the steps on. It kind of gives you a little sneak peek into May. And then I just had a lot of my finals at the end of April, so it got a little crazy. So April currently is we're watching The Last of Us. We rewatched the first season for my sister-in-law to catch up to us, and then we started the second season. And then I've been listening to my step-up station with a lot of dance music, kind of dancing around, being silly, and then really not reading a lot. I just kind of took a brain break after the finals, you know. And then I dream of fantasy writing, so working on my fantasy. And then I've been eating biscuits and gravy, and then so much of G's good cooking, that's my husband. And then drinking water, and then I've been loving apple cherry juice, really, really good. Loving my family always. Just really happy with that, and it is really windy here today. And then planning for our Black Hills Comic Con that we're going to have a booth at, and we're going to do some presentations. And then collections, I went through a lot of the painting and supplies that go with that. I didn't write anything extra on those, you never know. So I kind of had some notes on the training, some different things to do, kind of notes for myself from things. And then I took some notes on the day, like I took the time to clean up the studio. It felt so good to have a clean place to create. And I moved around the drawers to situate all of the discbound journal stuff away, because we switched to this, so I just needed to get rid of that stuff out of the way. And then just this one was a little quote I saw. Weekly review, some ideals, break-even analysis, stress at work came home with me, and then we drove to go get my glasses, and we went to the bookstore. It was so much fun to go with Jay. And then I met with a doctor. It was a busy day, and the Saturday I got into the art tubs, and we cleaned out the whole shed and storage area place, and it just felt really good and made me really happy to organize all that. Weekly review, staff meetings, some things that I need to do, and then our contingency plan for the archive, some bullet points. And if you notice a lot of this, so I've been going back through, and I'll show you a little bit in March. We spent time organizing the main floor, so this is a little bit about the archive, calming day at the archive day. These are the days I enjoy and show me that how much I love my job, because I just went downstairs and really worked on processing. Had to focus on homework, almost all done. No work, woman's appointment. I asked G for his thoughts and opinions on the painting I made, so he gave me some great insight, and then I changed a little bit of my paintings, my weekly reviews, and then talking a little bit about work stuff. And then these are kind of blank, and then some book ideals, talking about we're all juggling balls, either glass or rubber, and then I started gonna list out which ones are glass and which ones are rubber. Weekly review, blank, blank, writing in the cracks, write my books on my phone, and then it goes into May. So these blank pages, I come back and I use them for, let's see. So this is actually where I have a blank page, so I marked it. This is where I stopped. And then if you come back into the March one, there was some blank pages like this one. And I did a prompt one day, and then I started how to organize my blog post, notes I took, self-care, so the ideals for my last video were right here. So then I just noted it. And then just some different notes, because most of the stuff I wrote, the smaller little segments, and then I either did a prompt or I wrote down ideas for videos, so that's kind of how it's going to keep going. Let's see, I didn't even notice that one was blank, so let me just move that forward. But see, what I've been doing all of February is full now. And I just kind of went back, video ideals. So that's notated with a gold marker or gold nothing, and then we have some other pages filled. So that's what I've been doing, and so that's why I'm not too concerned with the blank pages in April. The journal, the sketching, did my Noko rambles? Noko musings? I don't know. Anyway, it's different, definitely, being a Noko. Unchi is the Lakota word for grandma. But I don't know what it is. I really love Noko because that's my language, Ojibwe. Anyway, I tell you, I just go off on these little, and we reorganized the studio a little bit so that my painting place is up in front of the window. Oh, I love it. I'm so happy I did that. And I feel like I can be a little bit more creative. The whole desk area is just my creation station. And then this is kind of like where I journal and I do things. This is my favorite. Just space. But in our culture, in our language, we don't say goodbye. And I did in my last video. No. So this time I'm gonna say Bamapi. See you again. See you later. So, Bamapi. See you in the next video.